everyone. This is our first attempt at a Zoom online session, and today I'm going to start with the ball to do some really nice spine and hip mobilization exercises. So I'm using a rather under-deflated 55 centimeter ball for my height. For most of you, regularly inflated 55 centimeter ball should be about right. So I'm going to begin in an upright kneeling with kneeling cat, an exercise many of you are already familiar with. And abdominals are engaged. I'm trying to get in a nice vertical line here, and I'm using the back of my legs to prevent my hips from flexing back. And I'm going to begin with a nice inhale, really pulling up as if that string is pulling us up to the ceiling. Exhale, tuck the chin, and then round the spine. I'm using my hamstrings so I don't flex back in my hips. And I continue to walk the ball away, keeping my abdominals scooped. Here I have a three-way pull going on. I'm pushing the ball away. I'm scooping back in my low belly, being pulled back this way, and I'm trying to get the flexion in my spine. Then take a breath. Exhale, extend, low back, mid back, upper back, scapula sliding along the sides of the ribs, abdominals pulled in. Inhale for that extra reach. Exhale, rolling up, and I'm again using the back of my legs to bring my pelvis upright. Once again, inhale, pulling up. Exhale, tuck the chin and curve, using my hamstrings to prevent me from flexing back. Here's my three-way pull. Inhale. Exhale, extend, low back, mid back, upper back. Inhale. Exhale, rolling up and bringing my pelvis right over my knees. Now I'm going to add a little trunk rotation out there. So again, rolling up and over, pushing the ball away. This time I'm going to allow myself to sit further back so I don't have as much weight in my arms. Belly still scooped. Now I'm going to roll the ball to my left so that I'm rotating my trunk to the right. I'm looking under my right arm. My left arm is now resting on the floor. And then roll the ball to the right. My right arm resting on the floor, and I'm looking under, getting a long line from my left sit bone to my fingers. Again, rolling to the left, getting that long stretch from my right sit bone to my right fingers. And once again. And then back to center and roll all the way up. Now I'm going to do one more variation. This time we're going to go on an oblique angle and we'll get a nice stretch in the quadratus lumborum. So like we did, starting with that curve, and this time my knees are on the diagonal, the ball still reaching for the edge of the mat. And again, I'm going to allow myself to sit back, and you should feel a really nice stretch. I feel it all the way down into my right glute area, through my rib cage, into the armpit area, that upper lat. You can stay, take a nice deep breath, exhale, inhale, exhale, rolling back up and walking the ball in. So you might take that 2 or 3 times on each side. So now I'll go the other way. And so I'm diagonally placed on the mat, and the ball is still heading to the front of the mat as I sit back, belly scooped, and again getting a nice stretch all the way from my armpit area through the ribs into my waistline area and into my glute. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale to roll back up. And it feels great. Now I'm going to start adding some hip extension. So I'm going to go onto my hands and knees, and first I'm going to show without the ball. So in the neutral spine now, so finding that neutral alignment through the pelvis here. And we'll just take one prep of abdominal bracing. So I'm going to, for a moment, relax my belly without overextending, and then lift the lower belly, keeping that neutral, keeping that small indent in the low back. Now, maintaining that, we're going to extend the leg back for our dancers, like a tendu, and then maintaining the neutral, lengthening the leg to lift, and lower down, and lengthen to lift, and lower down, and lengthen to lift, and then take the opposite arm and get that two-way reach, and then come back in. And the other side, so finding that abdominal bracing, extending the leg. Nothing should change through here. We're also working on our scapular stability support. So scapula wide on the back, I'm pushing the floor down. And then from the tendu, lengthening up, abdominal scooped, lower down, and lengthen up, and down. And one more, this time taking the arm, belly scooped, reach a little bit more, and come back in. Now, we're going to add the ball. And this ball is just the right size for me to do some hip extension. So, again, establishing our neutral spine. And now I'm going to take that tendu with the ball. And the ball gives me a sense of further elongation from the hip. You could imagine that the ball is continuing to float away, further distracting my hip joint for that nice elongation, and then coming in, my foot rests on the ball, my femur can just hang from my hip, and then extend. It's a nice release for the hip flexor. Lengthening away. The more the ball pulls my foot and elongates my hip, the more the belly scoops, and then release, knee hangs to the floor. This time, I'm going to add a little abduction, so a little pendulum to my left. And what you can't see from this angle is that my sit bones are both working to aim straight back towards midline, so there's no shift of the pelvis. So it's simply a movement of the femur and not my whole pelvis wagging. And then take the leg off and do it without. For our dancers, we can add a little external rotation and a sense of arabesque, a little press and up, and then sit back into a nice child's pose and stretch. And rolling up. And it feels great. So I hope you'll give that a try. Thanks for joining me.